So it's still the Citi Newsroom. I'm coming to you from the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. We've come here today because students from the School of Hygiene across the country are picketing here today in protest against the non-payment of their allowances. They tell us that for the past 3 years or so, even though their counterparts in other areas, nurses, what have you, are being paid, they are not being paid their allowances. And also, they know for a fact that those allowances have been included in the budget, yet they do not have the allowances. What really is the issue? Let me speak to some of the leaders here to pick their thoughts on what is happening here. Hello, how long have you been here today?
Okay, today we were here around 3 o'clock a.m.
At dawn?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Because last 2 weeks, Thursday, that was on 6th of August, we were here to also protest and demand for our 3 years unpaid allowance, of which the president even stood on the School of Hygiene, Kolebu, forecourt to promise that he will pay us our allowance. And now, 2017 to now, the allowance has been restored. The nurses have received theirs, and other institutions have received theirs. They are on the same campus at Kolebu with the nurses, and when they receive the allowance, they shout, alawana ba, and they receive an alert, dear training. 2017, the ministry came for our details, our bank account, X-rays, our date of birth. Even if you don't have national health insurance, you have to go and register. And we did all these documents for them, and they neglected us as they started paying the allowance. So our simple and short message on that Thursday that we needed a financial clearance, but the ministry gave us a letter that they've written to the Ministry of Finance, and they even booked an appointment with us, with the Deputy Minister of Finance, Madam Abna Osei. So she said that the letter the Ministry of Sanitation wrote to her, there is no budget attached to it. So we even asked her that, Madam, please, you told us that on a Thursday that the document is on your desk working on it. So were you trying to be political, the two ministries? And she's like, no, she's telling us the truth. There's no budget allocated for us, even in the supplementary budget approved by the parliament, just the recent one. Schools of Hygiene were not being captured. But what she knows that in 2017, we were being budgeted for. The Nanado administration allocated an amount, 232 million annually, for health training allowance. Of each School of Hygiene, we were part. We have all the legal documents here that prove that we are part of the allowance. But she don't know why we have not been paid the allowance.
How many are you, and how much does each person that you're supposed to pay each person?
Okay, so across the country, we are 1,348 students who have not received the allowance. And if you're in final year now, you are supposed to receive 30 months, which is 12,000 Ghana cedis. And the total amount that the Ministry of Sanitation is supposed to give to the hygiene students across the country is 9,096,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay, which you've not received. Okay, so hang on with your thoughts. Let me bring in your colleague, Teresa, to also pick her thoughts. Teresa, which campus are you in?
I'm from Whole School of Hygiene.
You know, so are you a final year student?
Yes, please.
Okay, so for the past 3 years as well, you've not received any money.
Please, no.
How have you been coping? Do you rely solely on this for your everyday activities with regards to education?
I won't say I rely on it solely, but then we have the less privileged amongst us too, who really need this money. And it's so sad. It's mostly painful when it gets to examination weeks. Administration will be sacking students out of the exam hall when you are owing. You will not write. And even if they will allow you to write, sometimes it's a 2 hours paper. You stay outside for almost an hour before they will allow you to come inside. And it is affecting our results as well. Yeah, it is.
So you're saying that some of your colleagues rely solely on this to take care of themselves and all that?
Majority are owing fees, seriously. I know some of them came with the admission fees. That was first year, and that has been it. No one has paid again because there is no money. We are relying on this allowance and it isn't coming. Whoever is sitting on the money should just get up and give us our money so that we will leave. Without the money, we are not moving. That is it. Here, we are really prepared.
So what did you show me your things? What did you bring here?
Yeah, the other side.
Okay, let's go and see what you brought to prepare for today's thing. So I'm just going to give you an idea exactly what is happening here. These students are really bent on staying here and not moving. till the allowances are paid. They have brought their items to sleep here. So she, for example, so you have your toothpaste, your toothbrush.
My toothpaste. I even have my charger here. I have my shirt here. Some few clothing. Like everything is here.
Everything is here. Yeah. But where would you have your shower and all that?
Oh, that one.
Don't worry at all.
I want to know because I'm worried for you. I mean, you're lying in the sun, lying,
12,000 worth all this stress.
You are lying in the sun, lying in the mattress.
Not because of 12,000. Every year they come for our details.
Who comes for the details?
The ministry. Whenever the first years arrives, they come for our details. We don't know what they've been using it for these past 3 years.
And the money is not dropping.
And the nurses are receiving it. So whenever the government releases the money, what is our ministry using our money for? What are they using it for? We want the government to come and tell us that maybe our money or we are not part. We are not part, then we will go. But until then, we are here. I can imagine 2017, the stress I have to go through. Even bringing us the t-shirt, thank you, Nana, for us to put it on.
We even wear it more than the nurses, but we are not even receiving it.
Then after...
The t-shirt from where?
From the ministry, the same ministry.
They gave you t-shirt.
Yeah. Written on it, thank you, Nana, for restoring the allowance.
And then you hadn't gotten the allowance.
3 good years.
So why did you wear the t-shirt when you hadn't gotten the allowance?
I wonder. When the nurses gives out their details, they receive theirs. Ours, meaning at a particular point, they receive the money or the money move from one point to another. Every day it's in the pipeline. We don't want to listen to it in the pipeline again. It's not a supply chain. We want our money. Thank you.
So today, if you don't receive the money, we will stay here.
No, we've come with our toothbrush, our pet students, our sponge, our towel, our gari and shito, our bed spray. We are here till we receive our money. Our issue is that if the president said we are not part, it's not a big deal. He says I will do it, and he decided I've come to power. I don't want to do it. Fine, but know that he will release the money every year. And the ministry will, I don't know what they are using it for. If it is investment, please, they should go for it. If it's 5 years or whatever, they should cut it. It is 3 years now. They should take their profit and bring us our money. Thank you.
It seems that the government is much focusing on the curative aspect of the health and then ignoring the preventive aspect. We are for preventive medicine. I don't know why we have been ignored. Because if the president said he wants to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa, what are we, the women resource that will be used to do that job, is being neglected? It's not fair. It's not fair.
So these are some students from the School of Hygiene. They've come from the Northern region, the Volta region, and Kolebu, the Greater Accra region. They're asking for one thing: the allowances to be paid, around 12,000 cedis per person. From 2017 till date, it hasn't been paid. But let's understand this School of Hygiene matter and dynamics. Why did we create this school? What need are they supposed to serve us? And why are we seeing this issue of the allowance and allowance matter coming in and out? Let me move to Nathan Kwa, our head of research. He's been studying this matter and he'll give us details on why we are at this point. Nathan.
So the Ghana School of Hygiene was set up in 1925. That's a long time ago. And it was set up to train various officials in the delivery of sanitation, or in the area of sanitation. So basically that's why the Ghana School of Hygiene was set up. Now, over the years, in addition to training people in the area of sanitation, i.e., the sanitary inspectors, the health officials, the inspectors and all of that, the school has branched out into occupational therapy and occupational health and safety. Now, in the last 5, 6, 8, 10 years, matters of allowances and all of that have come up. Now, between 2016 and now, following the promise by the current government that said that it was going to restore the trainee allowances that had been taken away by the previous government, you've had a number of students from different year groups of the Ghana School of Hygiene talking about the fact that they need the allowances restored. If you track the timeline from 2016, they started complaining. 2017, they started complaining. They've had several demonstrations across the country. Their campuses in Ho and Tamale have also demonstrated on the same reasons. And then you've had episodes in 2019 and 2020. All of them virtually talking about the same thing. They want the allowances restored. They want, all those things put back because they feel that part of their education, the financial part, is lacking and it affects them. Now, somebody will ask, why are we even interested in hearing the cries of these students? Now, think about this. The School of Hygiene is producing people who are supposed to go on the ground and ensure that our environment is clean, whether at work, at home. They are the people who go out to ensure that things are done right. For example, the inspectors who get assigned or who graduate and get assigned to the district assemblies, they are the ones who go around offices, homes, facilities and whatever, and they find people, take people to court because their environment is poor, they are not keeping sanitary conditions, they are not keeping the place clean. That's why they are relevant.
So it's still the Citi Newsroom. We're still at the ministry trying to get answers to what is going on. And I'm going to speak to the Director of Communications here at the ministry, Mr. Nelson Akate, to give us some answers. Mr. Akate, welcome to the Citi Newsroom. Now, we have students from the School of Hygiene, the various ones from the Northern region, Volta region, as well as Kolebu. They were here 2 weeks ago over unpaid allowances, 3 years now. They're here together, and the matter is still the same. What is the situation with the allowances?
Thank you very much. Yes, I would like to say that indeed the students were here and have been following up on the issue of their allowance. But this is not only a Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources affair. There are other stakeholders also involved.
Like which stakeholder?
Yes, the Ministry of Finance is also involved. Because at the end of the day, the release or whatever will come from the Ministry.
But we spoke to them. They say the Ministry of Finance is saying there is no allocation from them to give them any money, so they should come back to you.
For that one, I will not be able to speak. What I do know very well that the ministry, we have to submit the paperwork, we have to sue the input, and that is what we have done. So it is a process. So we are saying that, yes, as much as we want to appreciate the fact that it has delayed, just give us a little bit of time. It's not like we are sleeping or the ministry is working.
When did you submit this document? It's 2017 to 2020. Which process is this that is taking 3 years to solve?
For that one, I will not be able to speak to that. But what I'm saying is that it is a process and we are all working together to get the issue resolved.
So this process you are talking about, where has the ministry gotten with this process?
To the best of my knowledge, like I said, the ministry works with the Ministry of Finance. So whatever input that the Ministry of Finance that requires, we submit those inputs per what also the School of Hygiene submitted. So this is how we work together to ensure that at the end of the day, the issue is resolved.
So this is with the hygiene school or the list is with finance ministry? We want to understand.
We will get the list from the schools of hygiene. The ministry will get the list from the schools of hygiene. And whatever document that we need to attach to the list, we will attach it and forward to the appropriate quarters. And this is what we have done to the best of my knowledge.
Because we are told that every year the list you are talking about, they go for that list from the students, yet the allowance never drops. There are people from the various authorities, from your ministry as well, who go to the various schools to get the names of the students, the accounts every time, yet nothing is being done. So where does the list go to?
That is why I am saying that thankfully and by the grace of God, the minister has mandated that a task force to be put in place immediately, even involving the student leadership themselves. So we try and identify exactly what the problem is, where is the lapse coming from. So together we all put our heads together and resolve it once and for all.
They are here now.
Yes.
They've been here since 3 a.m. I'm told. They say they will not leave till you solve the matter. How are you addressing this picketing matter?
Yes, we are only appealing to them that they should go back. The ministry is working on it together with other key stakeholders.
So let me speak to the student leadership on their thoughts on what the communications director here at the ministry is saying. He is saying that they should allow the committee to work. They should stay still with the committee and find out the way forward in dealing with this matter. Is that satisfactory? And they want you to go back and then they will deal with the matter.
So the first question I will ask is the nursing students, when they are paying them the allowance, do they form a committee? That is one question I want to ask the Minister of Sanitation. And the man that you spoke to him, we have never met him before.
Never met the communications director.
Since 2017, we have never engaged him on this allowance issue. So why then now we are seeing a new face speaking and saying he's a communication director? I told the Deputy Minister of Sanitation in charge of finance himself, point blank, that we are not going. Whatever he's telling us is a story. We've heard it from 2017. So now the nursing students, if they are going to pay them the allowance, they don't form committees. So why then do you want to tell me that I should form a committee? What for?